We are the Essenes come again. We are, as Aquarian Essenes, preparing for the mass ascensions on the hillside of thousands and even millions of devotees, and the ascension of the planet itself. I'd like to deliver now the Divine Director's sharing on co-creating a new model for an Aquarian Essene community. There are three major pillars for each Essene community, and these pillars are, first, the prayer and meditation and the communion with angels and cosmic forces. The second is the teaching and the studying of sacred scripture and the higher revelations. And third is the work, the service, which in the Essene tradition includes healing and also agriculture and arboriculture. Nowadays we could say permaculture. These three pillars are essential for the sustaining of the community and for the fulfilling of the mission of that community. The master or the divine teacher stands in the center of the circle of the community. And so if there is a physical master who is an adept, that one would be holding the line in the very center of the circle, around which there are 12 primary elder teachers. 12 primary elder teachers, preferably 6 men, 6 women, yet it's not based on equality there. It's just whoever rises to the level of attainment as an elder teacher. Then within the school, the divine school, which we would have Mary University, we have study sessions during winter, spring, and autumn. The summers are off for work outside and for a respite from study. Very similar to the universities of today. So each study session, winter, spring, and autumn, would include 12 weeks of study. And each of the 12 weeks, there will be 4 courses, each 12-week session, with 3 weeks for each class as a focus. And this is also very similar to what we had at Summit University. We haven't done the same here with the Heart Center, but this is the request for a Aquarian Essene community for the future. And there would be different levels. Let's say level 1 would be year 1. These would be the basic teachings that everyone should understand and know. Level 2 would be the intermediate teachings, more advanced. And then level 3 would be the more advanced teachings for initiates and those working toward their ascension and who desire to move on their path of oneness with God. Level 4 would be the practice through apprenticeship, internship, and ultimately what we would call residencies, similar to what a doctor has to go through after many years of training. And all of that is preparatory for being a master teacher, one of the 12 for the community. So what I see from the Divine Director are majors for what students and initiates could study within the university system, the Divine School, Mary University. These majors would include a teacher certificate itself, healing, health and wellness, and childbirth. Anything to do with health, vitality, wellness, wholeness. The third would be counseling and ministerial services, especially counseling to help people who are going through issues in their life, whether it's mental, emotional, psychological, yet just counseling in general, spiritual counseling and counseling for their soul. And the ministering is really primarily the counseling. So this would be someone who is very versed in divine psychology, if you would, the study of the soul, soulfulness, and an understanding of the path. The next would be the creative arts, which would, in this day and age, include video, audio, other visuals that are static, and music. And this is very important because through the creative arts, we can inspire people, we can accomplish much with, let's say, what we do in our services, with all of what we've recorded, both in audio, video, visual, and music. And it's essential as part of the prayer and meditation part of our one of the three pillars. The next major would be administration and leadership, as well as customer service and providing for the community. So it takes a lot to plan, to be an administrator, to be a leader, and there has to be training in that. How do you go about working with people to get them to the level where they can be centered and yet very fiery and giving to the community? And then the last of the 7 majors would be community building and construction, and it would include permaculture, arboriculture, and agriculture. So these kind of go together somewhat because you have to have a foundation and a plan for how you grow crops and food. And yet it can involve construction, and I can speak to a lot of that from our property, building the whole matrix for what you're going to grow, how you're going to grow it, whether you're going to have systems in place with water. A lot has to do with construction and architecture. So these are 7 of the majors. There could be others in the future, but this is what I see for a strong spiritual community to be, first of all, sired into existence, to be, visualized and conceived, and then to be ultimately sustained. There's much more that the Divine Director could say, yet this is like a major outline of what he sees as a model. Now, some people were considering, who were the Essenes? Not everybody knows who the Essenes are. Well, we are the Essenes, come again, yet we incorporate the truths of all religions and all divine systems and all divine inspirational teachings in our community. And in our library, it can be a composite of so much truth and wisdom teaching from ages past, as well as current revelatory teachings in the modern era. So we're not limited to what the Essenes did by any means, and they had a mission to prepare for Jesus' coming. We are, as Aquarian Essenes, preparing for the mass ascensions on the hillside of thousands and thousands of, and even millions of devotees, and the ascension of the planet itself. So we're not limited by, in any way, what the Essenes did, 2,100 years ago and more. Actually, they were preparing for Jesus' coming 200 to 300 years before his coming. So we have the advances today of technologies and systems and computer systems and AI that can help with this way beyond what was, done in that generation. So again, in the center of the circle is the master, or the representative of the master. In our case, it would be the messenger or messengers, and then 12 primary elder teachers. And then I see, as the spokes go out, there can be other teachers that teach all manner of classes that support these majors, or maybe other majors that are conceived of in the future. Ideally, we would have a school that would allow the students to finish their courses, receive certification, and it would be something that is recognized in the world. So right now, we wouldn't be. You take a class, it's for your spiritual benefit. Yet imagine in the future, it may take 10 or even 12 or more years for us to be accredited. If we have the right people in the right positions with the right training and the right credentials, this can happen. It has been a vision of the Masters from the beginning to have an accredited school, but they knew that the first 20 years of the Heart Center that wouldn't happen because we were laying a foundation of instruction and teaching that is beautiful. It's close to 7,000 heartstrings that we can draw from for what the Masters desire to share. Yet, weaving into our Divine School or Mayer University, other classes that are taught at the university level ultimately would benefit new students and new youth coming up who desire to go to a spiritual school. That's what I was looking for when I was 18 years old, where is a spiritual school that's teaching Aquarian concepts, concepts about karma, reincarnation, and true healing that's not based on the current materia medica, which has really been taken over by the dark forces and large. So this is what he desired to convey. There are other aspects of the community that could be addressed in the future in terms of standards of behavior. What is the ethos of the community? How do we comport ourselves in relation to the world? Do we have stuff that's more secretive and private for initiates, and how much of that versus what is completely public and open for everyone to study? And those are points of discussion for the future. And we have done a fair amount of discussion in the past on community building, yet we haven't always fulfilled that by actually, establishing these communities. We're more virtual right now. We can start this model as a virtual community because we have teachers all over the world. These 12 elder teachers could be here in the United States or elsewhere, and because of the internet, we can teach anywhere, just about any time. And then also there could be classes that are taken that are not live, although like in Summit University when I went, there were the live classes that were taught, right there live by a live student. And then there was the replays of previous teachings given by the messenger or messengers. So there's more to think of and conceive of. The leadership of the Heart Center can look at this model as a possibility, and then it can be kind of the seed of what we are creating for the future that will grow. So it's not the full-blown manifestation of it. It is a seed ideation of it that the Divine Director is planting into the soil of our consciousness today, into the soil of the earth itself, and let Mother Nature do her wonderful thing. Let's water this seed, as we learned about water yesterday at our home, and see where it goes, see where it expands, see where it can be augmented by the wisdom of those in our community who maybe in the past have been parts of spiritual communities like the Summit Lighthouse and have learned a lot from those experiences. Many of us, in my case, I was 30 years and 25 years on staff, and many of you were there even before I was. Donald and Joyce and Stephen and Robert Beasy, you've been around and seen it all, right? So you are some of these elders who can provide insights that are very essential for us as we seek to develop and co-create these communities that will bring so much love, light, and joy. The Aquarian model is one of love, light, and levity. The 3 L's. Love, light, and levity. Bring that to the world. Bring it out into the world, and let the world be inspired by our love for each other, our love for God, our love for the world, our love for elemental life and nature. And that love and that light and that levity will serve to catapult us into a deeper and more profound opportunity to serve, to fulfill our mission, and to help to birth this beautiful Aquarian age that is within us and right before us. So God bless us, and God bless the Divine Director for sharing this today.